My heart still aches thinking about how my wife, Sophia, fell for the vicious lie spun by her best friend, a betrayal that shattered our marriage. When the truth finally came to light, Sophia wasn't prepared for what I did next. I'm 35, living in Seattle, and I've just finalized my divorce from Sophia. We shared 6 years together, 2 of them as husband and wife. Looking back, I can see the storm clouds gathering from the start, but love, or what I thought was love, blinded me to the red flags. The trouble had a name: Jessica, Sophia's closest friend. From the moment I met Jessica, I knew she was trouble. She was loud, self-absorbed, always craving the spotlight. Her sharp gaze seemed to size me up, searching for weaknesses. But Sophia adored her, seeing her as a loyal companion from their college days. I figured I'd put up with Jessica for Sophia's sake, thinking she was just an annoying tag-along. But man, did she know how to stir the pot. Things started unraveling when we began planning our wedding. After 3 years of dating, I proposed to Sophia, and we were over the moon, dreaming of our future. Then Jessica stuck her nose in. It started small. She called our color scheme boring, too plain for a wedding. I let it slide. Who cares about colors? But then she insisted we needed vegan catering for guests who didn't exist, claiming half the invitees would want it. Maybe 2 people were vegan. Tops. And then, get this, she demanded her own special moment to walk down the aisle before the bridesmaids. She argued it was her right, having been Sophia's rock through every heartbreak and tough moment. She said, "This day is about celebrating the people who've stood by Sophia, not just the marriage." I thought it was a joke at first. Who asks for their own aisle walk? But Sophia hesitated, her loyalty to Jessica clouding her judgment. I tried to talk sense into Sophia. "This is our wedding, not Jessica's personal stage," I said, pointing out that her sister was already maid of honor. Sophia got defensive, accusing me of blowing things out of proportion. Jessica, meanwhile, acted like I'd insulted her entire existence. "Wow," she sneered. "I didn't realize your fiancé was so controlling." That stung, but what hurt more was Sophia folding. "It's just one little thing," she told me later. "If it makes her happy, what's the harm?" So, Jessica got her grand entrance, strutting down the aisle like she was the bride. I could feel my parents' side-eye from the front row, but I gritted my teeth and smiled for the photos, hoping marriage would push Jessica to the sidelines. Boy, was I wrong. Hugely wrong. After the wedding, Jessica didn't fade away as I'd hoped. If anything, she became more entangled in our lives. Sophia and I would be planning a weekend, and Jessica's name would pop up like clockwork. "Oh, I already told Jessica she could come," Sophia would say. Or, "Jessica thinks we should try this restaurant instead." It was like we couldn't make a single choice without her input. I tried addressing it gently. "I love that you have a close friend," I told Sophia, "but Jessica's way too involved in our lives. Can we set some boundaries?" Sophia bristled, her voice sharp. "She's my best friend. I can't just shut her out. You don't get how much she's done for me." Maybe I didn't. I wasn't there for their college years or past breakups, but I did know Jessica didn't respect me or our marriage, and Sophia was too wrapped up in their friendship to see it. I wanted to believe Jessica wasn't deliberately undermining me, that she was just clueless about boundaries. But deep down, I suspected she disliked me, plain and simple. The more she inserted herself, the clearer it became. Why didn't I put my foot down sooner? Maybe I thought it wasn't worth the fight, or I didn't want to risk pushing Sophia away. That was my mistake. By staying quiet, I let Jessica think she had the right to meddle in our marriage. By the time I realized how deep her influence ran, it was too late. About a year into our marriage, Sophia and I had settled into a comfortable routine: work, cozy date nights, binge-watching shows on weekends. Things weren't perfect, but they were good, peaceful even. That is, until Jessica showed up at our doorstep, sobbing like her world had collapsed. It was a Friday evening. We were about to make tacos and watch a movie. I was chopping onions when the doorbell rang. Sophia answered, and within seconds I heard Jessica's wails. I peeked around the corner, and there she was, clinging to Sophia like a lifeline, a duffel bag slung over her shoulder, mascara streaking her face. "He left me," she cried. "I can't do this alone." Sophia led her inside, giving me a look that said, "We'll talk later." I stood there, knife in hand, feeling like I'd stepped into a nightmare. Jessica plopped onto our couch, rambling about how her boyfriend of 2 years, Ethan, had dumped her out of nowhere, texting that they weren't compatible. She insisted she'd been the perfect girlfriend, painting Ethan as an emotionally stunted jerk. Sophia asked if she had a place to stay. Jessica sniffled, her eyes darting toward me before answering, "No, I can't go to my parents. They'll just say, 'I told you so.' My other friends are busy. I didn't know where else to go." I saw where this was headed and wasn't thrilled. Sure enough, Sophia turned to me. "Is it okay if Jessica stays for a few days, just until she's back on her feet?" What was I supposed to say? No, your sobbing friend can't stay. So I nodded, forcing a smile. "Yeah, of course." At first, I tried to be patient. Jessica was heartbroken. Breakups are rough. For the first couple of days, I stayed out of her way, letting Sophia handle her. But by the end of the week, it was clear a few days was stretching into who knows how long. Jessica wasn't just staying, she was taking over. The guest room, which we'd kept neat, turned into a disaster zone. Clothes were strewn across the floor, bed and chair, empty coffee cups and takeout containers piled up on the nightstand, like a teenager's room after a meltdown. And Jessica. She was 34, not 16. She camped out in the living room, blasting reality shows at full volume, hogging the couch. Twice, I came home from work to find her sprawled in pajamas, munching from a family-sized chip bag, barely acknowledging me as she watched some dating show. The kitchen was no better. Jessica didn't cook much, but she used our pots and pans like she was on a cooking show audition, leaving them dirty. I'd wake up to a sink overflowing with dishes and random half-eaten meals on the counter. I tried talking to Sophia one night. "I know Jessica's going through a lot," I said, "but she's treating our place like a hotel. It's not fair to us." Sophia looked torn. "I know it's frustrating, but she has nowhere else to go. She just needs a little more time." I pushed back. "A little more time? It's been 2 weeks. How much longer do we put up with this?" Sophia hesitated, promising to talk to her. But when she did, Jessica flipped the script, acting like the victim. "I'm sorry if my presence is such a burden," she said, tears welling up. "I'll leave if that's what you want." Sophia, predictably, rushed to reassure her. "No, it's not like that. We just want to make sure you're okay." It was infuriating. Jessica knew exactly how to manipulate Sophia, and Sophia fell for it every time. The final straw came about a month in. One Saturday morning, I went to the backyard to grab tools for a DIY project. To my shock, I found my power drill, saw, and other tools scattered across the patio. Jessica was sitting on the grass, painting random wood scraps neon colors. "What's this?" I asked, gesturing to the mess. She looked up, unbothered. "Oh, it's for my therapy. My counselor said to do something creative to process my emotions." I blinked. "You went through my tools without asking?" She shrugged. "I didn't think you'd mind. I'm done." I stormed inside, found Sophia in the kitchen, and laid it out. "She has to go. I'm not asking any more." Sophia was surprised by my tone but nodded. "Okay, I'll talk to her." This time, I didn't leave it to her. I sat both of them down. Jessica, we've done our best to support you, but it's been a month. This isn't sustainable. You need to find another place. Jessica didn't take it well, accusing me of being heartless, of not understanding her pain. You're kicking me out at my lowest, she snapped, glaring. I stayed firm. I'm not kicking you out today, but you need to plan. We've given you time. Sophia looked torn but didn't side with Jessica. Within a week, Jessica was gone, leaving in a huff, muttering about how I'd always been controlling and how Sophia deserved better. As she drove off, I felt a weight lift. Our house felt like ours again, but I knew Jessica wasn't done causing trouble. The real damage hit on a random Saturday afternoon. Sophia had gone for her usual brunch with Jessica. I wasn't thrilled, but had stopped commenting on their meetups. What was the point? Jessica was a fixture in Sophia's life, no matter what I said. I stayed home, tackling errands, groceries, laundry, some yard work. When Sophia returned, something was off. She barely mumbled a greeting and headed straight to the bedroom. I stood in the kitchen, holding a bag of apples, wondering if I'd upset her. Maybe she was just tired, I thought, and went back to unpacking groceries. All day, Sophia was distant, avoiding eye contact, giving one-word answers, glued to her phone. I asked a few times if something was wrong, but she brushed me off. I'm fine. She clearly wasn't. I figured Jessica had dumped some drama on her, and Sophia needed time to process. That night, things got weirder. After dinner, she barely touched her food. She went to bed early. When I joined her, she was curled up on the far edge of the bed, pretending to sleep. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, wondering what was going on. The next morning, I pushed. Sophia, seriously, what's wrong? You've been acting strange since brunch. She hesitated, avoiding my eyes, then said, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. My stomach nodded. Okay, what is it? She turned to me, her face a mix of anger and hurt. Were you with someone else yesterday? I blinked, completely thrown. What? No. What are you talking about? Her voice sharpened. Jessica said she saw you in a parking lot, making out with some woman. She described your car, your brown jacket, even the strip mall by Pine Street. I was stunned, the accusation so absurd I almost laughed. But Sophia's serious expression turned my disbelief into frustration. Sophia, that's ridiculous. I was grocery shopping at that strip mall. I wasn't with anyone. She snapped. She described everything. Your car, your jacket, the exact spot. I explained. Yeah, because I was at the grocery store there. I was buying milk and bread, not cheating. Sophia crossed her arms, glaring. Then why would Jessica say she saw you? That question infuriated me. Not, could she be mistaken, or is there a mix-up? But why would she lie? As if Jessica's word was untouchable. I don't know, Sophia, I said, my voice rising. Why don't you ask her? I didn't do anything wrong. But she wasn't listening. I don't know what to believe, she muttered, shaking her head. Jessica wouldn't lie about something like this. That hit like a punch. After 6 years, she doubted me without hesitation. I stood, pacing. You've known me for 6 years. Do you really think I'd cheat in a parking lot of all places? Does that sound like me? Sophia didn't answer, staring at her hands. I need time to think, she whispered. The next few days were torture. Sophia barely spoke, moving to the guest room, saying she needed space. Every time I tried to talk, she shut me down. I'm not ready. Or, I need more time. I was in a fog of anger and disbelief. Jessica's lie was exactly the chaos she thrived on. But why go so far? Did she hate me that much? Worse was Sophia's reaction. Her lack of trust spoke volumes about our marriage, more than Jessica's lie ever could. If she believed Jessica over me, what did that say about us? A week later, Sophia packed a bag and left, not even telling me where. She texted, "I think it's best if we separate for now. My lawyer will send paperwork." No discussion, no attempt to work it out, just a text and a lawyer. It was like our marriage had been erased over one absurd story. Part of me wanted to fight, to prove my innocence, but another part was exhausted. If Sophia could throw us away so easily, maybe I didn't want to save this. In the weeks that followed, things got uglier. Word of our separation spread, and Jessica made sure everyone heard her version, that I was a cheater. Mutual friends started acting strange, avoiding eye contact or making vague comments about working on myself. Even my family asked awkward questions like, "Is there any truth to what they're saying?" It was a nightmare. Everywhere I turned, I was reminded how quickly people could turn on you. And Sophia? Silent. No calls, no texts, just nothing. At first, I was furious, angrier than I'd ever been. But as weeks passed, that anger cooled into something harder. If Sophia didn't trust me enough to talk, maybe I didn't need her. I wasn't going to beg someone who put me second to her so-called best friend. If this was the end, so be it. 2 months later, on a Thursday evening, everything changed. I was eating dinner, scrolling through my phone, when a text came from an unknown number. "Hi, this is Lauren. I know Jessica lied about you. Can we talk?" Lauren's name rang a faint bell. Someone from a party Jessica and Sophia dragged me to years ago. Why was she messaging now? I almost ignored it, but her words, "I know Jessica lied," piqued my curiosity. I replied, "What do you mean? What lie?" Her response was instant. "About the cheating. Jessica admitted she made it up. I think you need to see the proof." The next day, I met Lauren at a cozy coffee shop downtown. She was already there, fidgeting with her phone at a window table. I sat across from her, a mix of curiosity and dread swirling inside. "Thanks for meeting me," she said nervously. "I wasn't sure you'd want to talk." "Yeah, well, here I am," I said. "What's this about Jessica lying?" She pulled out her phone, opened a text thread, and handed it to me. "I've known Jessica for years, but I can't stay quiet anymore. You deserve to know what happened." I read the messages, and my jaw dropped. Jessica. "OMG, Sophia finally left him. She totally bought it. LOL, poor guy." Lauren. "What are you talking about?" Jessica. "I told her I saw him making out with some random chick in his car. You should have seen her face. Priceless." Lauren. "Wait, are you serious? Why would you do that?" Jessica. "Because he's a controlling jerk, and she's too dumb to see it. I had to help her." I kept scrolling, my hands shaking with rage. It got worse. Jessica. "Their marriage was doomed anyway. Sophia's so gullible, she'll believe anything I say." Lauren. "This is messed up, Jessica." Jessica. "Whatever. She's better off without him, and I don't have to hear about her perfect marriage anymore." Gag. I couldn't read more. I handed the phone back, my jaw clenched so tight it hurt. "She really said all this?" I asked, barely above a whisper. Lauren nodded, looking upset. "Yeah, she bragged about it like it was a game. When she started mocking Sophia for being naive, I realized how twisted it was." I sat there, processing. Jessica hadn't just lied, she'd sabotaged my marriage, mocked Sophia's trust, and laughed about it. All because she felt entitled to control Sophia's life and resented me. "Why tell me now?" I asked. "Why not sooner?" Lauren stared at her coffee. I was scared. Jessica can be intense, but I couldn't keep quiet. It's not fair to you or Sophia. I took screenshots of the texts and thanked Lauren. Driving home, I replayed it all, furious at Jessica's manipulation, at Sophia for falling for it, and at myself for letting Jessica's influence fester. But more than that, I felt validated. For months, I'd carried this cloud, wondering if I could have done something different. Now I had proof. This wasn't my fault. Jessica set me up, and Sophia played right into it. At home, my anger settled into resolve. I wasn't going to lash out or throw accusations. I'd handle this smartly. First, I sent the screenshots to my lawyer with a note. This is what happened. How can we use it? Then I stared at my phone, debating whether to text Sophia. Part of me didn't want to. She'd shown where her loyalty lay. But another part felt she deserved the truth, even if it changed nothing. After a few minutes, I texted, "We need to talk. It's important." Her reply came fast. "What do you want?" I kept it short. "I have proof Jessica lied. Can we meet? You need to see this." After a long pause, she responded, "Fine, tomorrow afternoon." "Where?" I suggested a park near her new place. She agreed, and that was that. I didn't want her back. I was done with that. But I needed her to know the truth, if only to clear my name. Part of me wanted to shove the screenshots in her face and let her deal, but I knew I had to stay calm. I didn't want her thinking I was being dramatic. When Sophia arrived at the park, she looked hesitant, almost nervous. She wore a hoodie and jeans, but the confident spark she once had was gone. She spotted me, gave a small wave, and walked over. "What's this about?" she asked, arms crossed defensively. I didn't waste time. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots, and handed it to her. "Read this," I said flatly. She looked confused, but took the phone and started scrolling. At first, her face was blank, but as she read, her expression shifted. Her eyes widened, her mouth dropped, and by the last message, she was pale. She handed the phone back, her hands trembling. "She lied," she whispered, almost to herself. "Yeah," I said, keeping my voice steady. "She made up the whole cheating story to break us up, and she thought it was hilarious." Sophia sat on the bench beside me, staring at the ground. "I didn't know," she said softly. "I didn't think she'd ever—" I cut in, sharper than intended. "You didn't think she'd lie? That's the problem, Sophia. You didn't think. You didn't question it. You just believed her and threw me under the bus." She flinched, but stayed silent. I continued, my voice rising. "Do you know how humiliating this has been? Friends, family, even co-workers, looking at me like I'm scum, all because you couldn't take 2 seconds to ask me what happened." Tears welled in her eyes. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she said. "Jessica's been my friend for years. I trusted her." I didn't hold back. "Yeah, and that trust cost you our marriage." Sophia looked at me, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "I didn't know, I swear." I softened but stayed firm. "That's the issue, Sophia. You didn't know because you didn't give me a chance. You trusted her more than me, and that says everything about how you saw us." We sat in silence, the weight of it all heavy between us. Finally, Sophia spoke, her voice quiet. "I'll cut her off. I won't talk to her again. We can fix this. Counseling. Anything. I'll do whatever it takes." I sighed, running a hand through my hair. Part of me wanted to believe her, but the damage was done. She'd chosen Jessica over me without a second thought. "I don't think we can fix this, Atal," I said. "It's not just Jessica's lie. It's how easily you believed her, how little you trusted me. That's not something we can just work through." Sophia cried harder. "I was stupid," she sobbed. "I should have talked to you, trusted you. Please, one more chance." I shook my head. I'm sorry, but I can't. This isn't about forgiveness. It's about trust. Once it's gone, it's nearly impossible to rebuild." She kept crying, and for a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. But then I remembered the sleepless nights, the friends who ghosted me, the times I questioned my worth because Sophia discarded me so easily. My sympathy vanished. "I think we both need to move on," I said, standing. "I wish things were different, but this is where we are." Sophia didn't stop me. She sat there, crying into her hands as I walked away. I didn't look back. For the first time in months, I felt in control of my life. That night, Sophia sent a long text, apologizing again, begging me to reconsider. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Jessica's lie sparked the fire, but Sophia's lack of trust burned our marriage to the ground. I wasn't interested in rebuilding something broken beyond repair. Instead, I forwarded the screenshots to a few mutual friends who doubted me, letting the texts speak for themselves. No commentary needed. Within hours, my phone lit up with apologies and support. "I can't believe Jessica did that," one wrote. "I'm so sorry for doubting you," another said. "Let me know if I can do anything." The validation felt good, but I wasn't eager to reconnect with people who'd believed the worst so quickly. They weren't the kind of friends I wanted anymore. I didn't bother confronting Jessica. What was the point? She'd shown who she was, and I wasn't giving her the satisfaction of knowing how much chaos she'd caused. A few days later, I started hearing updates from mutual friends, guilty ones who kept me in the loop, probably to make up for siding with Jessica. One friend, Rachel, called and said, "You won't believe this, but Jessica's basically been blacklisted from our circle." Apparently, once Lauren shared the screenshots with a few people, the story spread like wildfire. Jessica tried defending herself, claiming she was protecting Sophia from my toxic control, but no one bought it. "She's spiraling," Rachel laughed, posting rants on social media about how everyone's turned on her and she's the real victim. Curious, I checked Jessica's profiles incognito. Sure enough, she was venting. Some people can't handle the truth. I stood up for Sophia when no one else would, and now I'm the bad guy. Pathetic. The comments weren't kind. People called her out, saying, "You didn't help anyone. You ruined a marriage." Or, "Maybe look in the mirror before blaming others." It was satisfying to see her face the music. Sophia's life wasn't much better. She moved back with her parents, and things were tense. Her mom, always skeptical of Jessica, was furious when she learned the truth. A friend told me about a heated argument where her mom snapped, "You threw away a good man for a liar. How could you be so foolish?" Harsh, but fair. Sophia struggled to rebuild, but her efforts to reconnect with old friends were rocky. Some forgave her, but most kept their distance, wary of her quick betrayal. "She looks miserable," Rachel said once. Trying to act strong, but she regrets everything. A few weeks later, Jessica lost her job. Lauren, who worked with her, messaged me, "Just thought you'd want to know. Jessica got fired. Her reputation caught up with her." Apparently, her drama spilled into the office, and after the truth spread, co-workers shunned her. Her boss, fed up with the tension, let her go for interpersonal issues. I'd love to say I felt bad, but I didn't. Jessica had spent years manipulating and causing chaos. Now she was reaping the consequences. Months later, I ran into Lauren at a coffee shop. We chatted, and she filled me in on the latest. "Sophia reached out to Jessica a few weeks ago," she said, rolling her eyes. "Can you believe it?" I was curious. "What happened?" Lauren explained. Sophia tried apologizing, wanting to move past it, but Jessica laughed in her face, called her pathetic, and said she was better off without her. I shook my head, half amused, half disbelieving. Typical Jessica, zero accountability. Lauren smirked. They're both getting what they deserve. Looking back, I wouldn't say I'm glad it all happened, but I'm grateful for where I am now. Jessica and Sophia's toxic dynamic was a time bomb, and I was just collateral damage. In the end, they destroyed each other, and I walked away with a clean slate. It's funny how life works. Karma doesn't always strike fast, but when it does, it hits hard. Sophia and Jessica learned that the painful way, and I'm okay with that. They made their choices, and now they're living with the fallout. As for me, I'm moving forward, building a life that brings me joy, surrounded by people who genuinely care. That's the best revenge I could ask for.
Thank you for listening. Please share your thoughts, like this video if you found it helpful, and